Hey folks, it's Gregory here. Have you ever seen a heavily carved antique piece of furniture like this and thought to yourself, I wonder where that was made, or how old is it? What style is it? What's it called? Well, if you have, then stick around because we're going to answer those questions and many more on this episode of Antique Acquisitions. Hey folks, and welcome back. So I guess when you see a piece of furniture like this, one of the first questions on your mind is, what's it called? Does this particular style of furniture have a name? And the answer to that question is yes, it does. It is called the Bambachi style.
Bambachi.
So the Bambachi style was actually originated in Italy.
Bambachi.
Okay, I hear, is anybody else hearing Italian in here? But actually, he's right. This is actually pronounced Bambochi. The Bambochi furniture style is recorded as early as about 1560, and it was produced up until about 1610. So it is a Renaissance furniture style. This is actually a type of secretary cabinet, and it's called Stipo a Bambochi. Now, here we have two cabinets, and that's interesting because I got these at two different times in two different places, and so many things come and go that I didn't even realize how similar they were. One was on one end of the warehouse and the other was on the other end of the warehouse, and then one day I discovered that they're almost identical. And so what we actually have here is Stipi a Bambochi. At least that's as close as my pronunciation will let me get. Stipi is plural for stipo in Italian. So we have here Stipi a Bambochi. Now, when you first see a piece of furniture like this, you might look at all these carved figures and you might think, oh, those are putty that are carved on there, some Rubenesque style inspired furniture. But no, in fact, that's not what they are. They are Bambochi. They are carved representations of common people, of peasants. And that's where the furniture gets its name, from these carvings. You have, I guess this would be a bamboccio. My Italian's not that good, but altogether they're plural. You have bambochi. The next question is, when were they made? And there's a number of things that you can look at to determine the age of a piece of carved furniture, or any furniture for that matter. One of the first things that you can look at are dovetails. So let's pull out the sliders here, and let's let that down there, and let's take a look at one of the drawers, and they're all the same. And it's very interesting because what you find here is that there are in fact no dovetails at all anywhere on this piece. That may or may not tell us something important. Much of the furniture actually that was made before 1660s did not have dovetails. And I think probably a lot of people don't know that, but many of the older pieces would have actually been constructed like this. So are we to conclude from that this piece is actually pre-1660? Or are we not to conclude that? So let's leave that there for just a second, and let's take a look at something else on this particular cabinet. Now, on the back of this cabinet, you can see the name Italy. It looks like it's branded into the back, stamped or branded into the back of this cabinet. Now, what's interesting about that is that Italy didn't actually become a nation until 1861. So then do we conclude that this is a cabinet that was made after 1861? Well, that would seem to be the logical conclusion. But there's another piece of information that might help us determine the age. In 1887, the British government passed a law stating that export items made in other countries needed to contain the label of the country that they were from. So that would suggest that this piece was in fact made after 1887. Of course, there's no guarantee of that, because it could be that this piece had been sitting around over there and they wanted to export it, and they decided to brand it, or maybe a shopkeeper somewhere decided to just brand it or label it so they'd know where it was at. So we don't know anything for sure. I do feel like we can probably conclude, though, that would be about the latest that it would be made, because in 1914, the United States passed an act which required export goods made in other countries to contain the label "made in" that particular country. So if this were after 1914, we would expect it to probably say on the back, "Made in Italy," and it does not say that. Well, now we know where these were made and what the name of this style of furniture is. Can we narrow it down a little bit further from that? And the answer is yes, we can, because this particular type of furniture, the Bambocci type of furniture, was made in a specific region in Italy, and that region is Liguria, and the capital of that region was Genoa. And so we can probably say with some certainty that these pieces were made in or around Genoa in the late 19th century. That's the most logical conclusion to reach. I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that these were actually authentic Bambocci pieces from 1560 to 1610. They don't feel that old to me, and I just don't think that's what they are. But nonetheless, they are incredibly beautiful and very valuable. All right, well, that's it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope you learned a little something about antique furniture, maybe some history. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for updates on future shows as they come out, and we'll see you next time.